welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Rosie Henshaw. If you're new here, then welcome. It's lovely to meet you. And if you're already existing, then welcome back. So grab yourself a nice hot drink. Oh, this is steamy. I've got myself a little cup of tea in my little Christmas mug from Home Bargains. Grab yourself a nice little hot drink or snacks. Oh, my battery's running low. That isn't a surprise, is it? So today's video is just an extra video. You don't have to watch it if you don't want to. It's just like an extra thing. I'm not making things. I'm not showing you what I've bought, which is the usual thing. But I did do a Q&A I think it's about 2 months back now. And there were so many leftover questions. And as Christmas has been creeping up, I've been getting a lot of Christmas related questions. So I just thought it'd be quite a nice, fun little video to talk about Christmas, like a Christmas Q&A today. So it was just little questions about like what sort of like my favourite things to do over Christmas, my favourite Christmas film, my favourite Christmas song, and just traditions in general, like what Christmas traditions do I do? Because people are like, oh, Christmas Eve boxes. A lot of you know what it was. Some of you are like, I've never heard of that before. So just a few traditions that me and my family do, the Henshaw House / Taylor's, which is my maiden name, which is before. So yeah, just letting you know our traditions that we do. So it's just a little chat. So if you want to grab a cup of tea or just have a little chat, like we're sitting in the same room having a conversation, I do love it because then you comment back after and you write, and then I know what you're doing at Christmas, and it just gives me a little bit of Christmas joy as well. It makes it feel special. So yeah, it was just like, what makes you go so extra at Christmas? So the reason I go so extra at Christmas is probably this reason. So I did let into, like, obviously with my dad at Christmas, I did let in with my dad, obviously, that he passed away. In my Q&A, I answered that question. And my mum never really let that sort of affect our Christmases. And we always had the best Christmases when he was alive. But then once he passed, my mum always made sure she'd give us the best Christmases. And it just brought me back, like, I remember, the things that I remember about Christmas the most growing up, like now I grow up, is the little traditions that she set in place that a lot of my other friends wasn't allowed to do at Christmas. And it was just so lovely. In actual fact, I used to look more forward to those things than I did probably the whole of Christmas Day. So like, for instance, as a child, Christmas, it always, the first week in December, my nan and granddad would pay for the whole family, and we'd always go and see a Christmas pantomime. And it always used to be the one in Hornchurch, and because that was our local one then years ago, and we'd always go and watch the Christmas panto, and we used to have the best time. And literally, like, one of my funniest memories of my sister is at one of the Christmas pantos. My little sister Ellie, she's all grown up now, but she's still my baby sister. But she was really small, and we went to see a panto one year, and there was a guy, and they was playing, I think it was like, I don't know, but the guy that, you know, that makes all the jokes, he was like, my name's Peter Piper, but I forget my name a lot. So when I shout out, who ate all the pies, you shout out, Peter Piper, Peter Piper. But my little sister was about 4 years old. Honestly, we tell her a lot because it really makes us laugh. And she had, from my mum, a really strong Cockney accent. So she was this tiny little thing that spoke like this when she was like 4 years old, like that. And obviously she must have heard this. She's kind of terrible, but it is really funny. So at 4 years old, the audience have gone quiet and said, we're going to do a run through. So, who ate all the pies? And all you heard from the back of the crowd, from a little 4-year-old little squeaky voice in the most funny Cockney accent, was, you fat, the B word. Well, I won't say it on here, but it was the funniest thing ever. My mum wanted the ground to swallow her up. My nan was getting the hot sweats, like, oh my God, what's going on? And like, then the next time Peter Piper done it, because obviously it's in their routine, so the next time Peter Piper done it, his little face was like, waiting for it again, because everyone erupted into laughter. Then everyone was giggling even more, because my mum was having to put her hand over my sister's mouth, because obviously the laughter from the crowd was just encouraging her more. So, not that I don't know what I would do if that was my children, but so every year on Christmas Eve, we find it so lovely. So me and Gary, we will book tickets at our local theatre, and we go and see the the Christmas panto. We've always done it. We go and see the 11 o'clock show, and it's just beautiful because we get up Christmas Eve, we have a little quick breakfast, we get dressed up nicely, and we go, right, let's go to the Christmas panto, and it's an extra day. And then the kids, it just seems like there's another Christmas day. It's just so special. And we go there, and then Santa comes and gives us some sweets, and everyone's in the highest spirits because it's at the peak of Christmas, and it's so lovely. So I just think that tradition is just a lovely little tradition. Another tradition which I do with my kids is a little bit different to my mum's tradition. So when I was growing up, my tradition at home was my mum used to let me and my sister open a present on Christmas Eve, one of the trees, because in my mum's house, some houses are different. I know some people, Santa comes and delivers the presents. In my mum's house, which was a really small house, Santa thought, well, you know, we might not be able to leave the sleigh on the chimney, on the roof. So what they used to do is they used to deliver all the boxes early, but then Santa would just sort of come down the chimney and sprinkle magic onto the presents that were already under the tree, and the presents would appear. That's how it was in my house. So they was already under the tree, and it used to get that anticipation of, oh my God, what's going to be in there? That's a big box. What's Santa going to feel it inside that one? It was always magical. And my mum used to say, I think you should open that one. And we always used to open a present, and Santa would let out, like, sprinkle a bit of magic early, and there'd be one present. She'd say, I think it's that present. Give it a shake. Give it a shake. And she always used to head us towards a present. I don't know why we ever didn't clock on, but we used to pick a present, and it always used to be pyjamas. And it used to be pyjamas and something cool for the evening. So we used to absolutely love that. And we'd go and have a bath, and we'd get all like in our Christmas bath stuff, and it'd be so magical. And then we'd get up and put our pyjamas on, something new to wake up in. And it was just so lovely. Like, that's a lovely tradition. So that's why I do the Christmas Eve boxes for my children, because I think they know it happens and it's so magical, and they know that the elves are being gone as well. So it's sort of a substitute, because they're so happy with their little elves throughout the year that once, like the month, once the elves go, they get really, really sad. So it's kind of like a, not stopping them from being spoiled, but a little bit of, the elves are going now, but you're being left these lovely little gift bags, and they absolutely love it, and it makes it so magical. Another tradition that I do in my house, which I know is a bit random, I am a die-hard fan of Gavin and Stacey. I cannot believe, like, all my Christmases have come at once, knowing that Gavin and Stacey is coming on this year. And I was listening to the radio in the car the other day, and I'm driving into town, and all of a sudden it was like, Ruth Jones has not ruled out any, saying that, you know, that nothing's been planned, but there's a good chance it might return after Christmas. They've all got back together, all the cast, and they're thinking of making more Gavin and Stacey's. Like, that just makes my life complete. But Gavin and Stacey, in there's the Christmas episode from a few years back, so their original Christmas episode, and Nessa, who's my favourite character ever, she wraps up little celebrations, and they're all different flavours, and she goes, oh, it's just a little something from me, Baby and Dave, like Baby Neil and Dave. So this one tiny chocolate is gifted from all these three people to everyone. It's just funny how she makes it sound. And they're like, oh, thanks. And they open these tiny boxes, and they all have different chocolates. But what's so funny about it is everyone knows there are good celebrations and there are bad. There are some people that really like the Bounties, and there are some people that really like the Mars bars and the Milky Ways. But let's face it, most of us want the Maltesers, the Galaxy Caramel, the good ones. We want the really, really good ones. So I wrap up different individual chocolates, give them out at random, and then we have to do the little scene of like Gavin and Stacey. So we say what ones we've got, and we can do a swapsies. It's just a fun little icebreaker game to play on Christmas. It's just a bit funny. You know, like when you've had your presents in the morning, you're cooking your dinner, it's before dinner, everything's sort of getting a bit slow, the kids are playing with their toys. It's just a fun little breaker. It's just really, really nice. So another tradition that we do at Christmas, so this should just be a Christmas tradition video, is a lot of people have asked, like, what do you wear on Christmas Day? Do you get ready or do you wear your PJs? Well, the answer is, it hasn't always been the same. When we lived at our old house, we always stayed in our pyjamas. Before we had Millie, we always got dressed because we'd go to other people's houses, i.e. family, for Christmas. But when we had Millie, we wanted to stay at home and have that little bubble, that family bubble of being at home with our new baby, and stay in. And any new mum and dad, they'll know what it's like. It's hard enough getting ready on a normal day, let alone Christmas when you're sitting up, setting up presents, cooking a dinner. So we've always stayed in our PJs and always loved staying in snuggly dressing gowns and slippers. When we moved to this house, well no, actually it started the last year of the old house, so about 4 years ago, we decided it wasn't really fair. Everyone was sort of trying to drive on Christmas to do their thing and then visit other people. So we was like, we're going to host Christmas. So everyone is welcome. Our door is completely open on Christmas. I'd like to know a little bit in advance, just that there's enough for everybody, but we go so mad on food and stuff, everything. We do get a lot of waste at Christmas, which is awful to admit, but we do. I think everyone goes overboard at Christmas, and we are not, you know, we're part of that, me and Gary, unfortunately. But our doors are open because we say we are staying in with the children. It's not fair for us to have our children have to be in a car for long journeys. We've moved away from a lot of people, quite a long distance. So there are camp beds everywhere. It's a bit Gavin Stacey really when you think about it. There's camp beds, there's rooms, there's the attic room. Everyone stays in separate quarters of the houses. And we all make do, and we all get up together. We all have Christmas Eve breakfast, Christmas morning breakfast together. We're all here Christmas, and we'll all have dinner. So we all like to get dressed, but there's one rule. If you want to get dressed into clothes, that's absolutely fine, but you have to wear something Christmassy, i.e. it could even be green, it can be red, something glittery. It has to be something Christmassy and snuggly or something party-wise, because we always have pictures, they're always at random while we're cooking dinner, and I've always got a sweaty fringe from cooking dinner, but that is our little tradition, wear those colours. So I do get dressed, and I just get up, brush my teeth, have a quick shower, jump in. This is normally once the kids have opened all their presents and we've sat there and set up all the presents and they're just sort of rolling around playing. Gary will sit there and go, your turn. I run up, I've got about 5 minutes max, quickly run up there, get ready. I always slick on a little bit of red lipstick, chuck my clothes on, I've already got them prepared in the wardrobe and I'm ready to go. And then we swap over. So another tradition, which is really, really lovely as well, and I just think this is probably my favourite part of Christmas, is I love seeing the kids opening their presents. It's so magical. I love being with the children. It's so, so nice. But I think this sort of like is the little bit where it makes me feel like a bit of a child again, and I love it. And it's like me and my mum will put the radio on in the kitchen and it's always Christmas songs, and it'll be me and her and we'll have a little cuddle and it'll be like, oh, Merry Christmas babe, Merry Christmas mum, and we cut all the carrots up, we do all the potatoes, we peel everything, get it all prepared, and we have a little Baileys together and we have a little laugh. Gary makes me laugh because he's playing with the kids, with all the other family in the living room and all that as well. They're all playing toys, opening presents, watching telly, eating chocolates. But the thing we do is me and mum are out in the kitchen. Everyone comes and congregates to me and my mum in the kitchen, and like we'll all have a laugh and a dance in the kitchen, and it's just so lovely and magical. But Gary is the funniest one at Christmas. Gary is funny anyway. He's literally, he reminds me of the film Dumb and Dumber. You know the blonde guy, Harry. He's got that sort of like funny, but he's a bit ditzy. But Gary is really, really funny, and he doesn't even mean to be. And I'm not even just saying that because I love him. Anyone that meets Gal go, oh, we love Gal. He's just so funny, and he'll just do the most random things. So me and my mum would just be cooking dinner, getting everything prepared, and then Gary, who's normally quite quiet and sort of just chilled, will just burst into Christmas cheer and be like, "Oi, Christmas!" and get the conga going in the kitchen, my tiny kitchen. Everyone's congaing, including the kids, and the music's going, and it's just, honestly, my favourite time is in the kitchen. One year though, oh my God, one year, my mum decided to be super helpful and go really quick with the peeler and cut everything up, and I'm going quite slow compared. And I'm thinking, she's doing it all. I'm just knocking back the Baileys casually. Well, the time's come to put it all in the oven. Don't anybody say that Baileys doesn't count as alcohol. It really does. And because I don't drink as well, it hit me so hard. I'm like over the counter, like, oh, Merry Christmas. Yeah. I was like, are you a little bit drunk, Rose? No, I wouldn't be drunk. I've only had 2 Baileys in my hot chocolates. I've only had 4 Baileys in a glass with loads of ice. Like, I'm not very drunk. She was like, yeah, but you did have like an eggnog with your breakfast, Rose, and you are sort of like having a few more sips of your Baileys here and there. I was so merry. Not drunk, just merry. And that day, the charades got pretty interesting, because in the evening, we also like to play games. and it's just lovely. Like Gary's nan and mum and all that will be here, his uncle. They'll have my mum and my sister, my nan, my granddad, all of my 3 kids. Got, who else comes? My sister's partner. Like we'll all be here and we'll all play games. And we'll play charades, and like, charades is really, really funny because we have 2 members of the family, and I think everyone's got these 2 members of the family where they get a little bit competitive at games, but they're normally the most funny characters of the family that you don't expect to get carried away with games. So one of them is Gary's mum. Now she's quite easygoing and she's quite funny and she laughs loud and she's just really quite funny. But all of a sudden, this competitive streak comes out in her and she gets really annoyed. But the other competitive person is Gary's uncle, Ray, and they play off one another and it's really funny. So she'll go, well, of course it was a shark, Ray. How could you not know it was a shark? Well, how am I meant to know it was a shark, Lynn? I didn't know it was a shark. And then it will go on the other way and then Ray will do 2 syllables and then Lynn will come up with 3 words. And he'll be like, I done 2 syllables, and it gets really competitive, and everyone else is just sat there with their faces, wanting to laugh, because they've got really serious, and then they realise everyone, and then they're like, and it's just funny. It is really funny. And Gary's nan, she's a legend. Like, she's 83 years old, but she is 20. Like, she bends down and plays with my children more actively than I ever could. I remember Alfie being smaller, so this is about 3 years ago, and she was giving him a yogurt, and she bent down, like crouching down with her back completely straight, crouching on the floor like it was nothing, feeding him his yogurt, and just sort of bounced back up, didn't have to hold nothing to get up or anything like that. She's just so fit, and you would never know she's 83, and she always comes, and she sits in her chair, she sits in one of the chairs, she's always sitting on the fabric armchair, and she'll sit there and go, do you want a Malibu and Coke more? Yeah, all right then. Or do you want a Baileys more? She always has a little tipple at Christmas. It's a tradition. She always will. And she just slinks more into her chair. And she's getting festively merry. We go, it's all right, we'll get taxis, or Gary will drive because Gary don't drink. And it's just so much fun, everyone being here. And it was my sister and her partner's first Christmas last year together. And it was so cute because they also done like a little gift. We was all watching and they're like doing presents. And Tom's new to the family, so he's just a little bit shy, like they're all watching me open my presents, but we're like, oh, what'd you get? What'd you get? Get really excited. So a lot of people have asked as well, do you and Gary get gifts for one another? Yes, we do get gifts for one another, but we don't go completely overboard. I do go overboard on Gary because Gary works extremely hard. He works all the hours under the sun that he could physically do because he's just such a grafter, and I really cannot fault him in that area at all. Like any areas, I absolutely love him. He's my world, he's my rock, and he's just so good at working. And he'll go to work and he always provides for us, and I just can't ask for more really. And I don't want for anything because of Gal, and it is all because of Gal. And yeah, he never buys himself anything. So like, he'll go work all week and I'll go, well, we're going to go to the shops. If we were looking around, he'll go, no, that's not worth it. I'll get it. And he never gets himself anything. Not that life's about that, but at Christmas, I know that there's things that he's picked up or he wants, especially with birthdays as well. His birthday's September. And whenever there's birthdays and things like that, what I like to do is I like to go overboard and buy him all the things that he wouldn't want to buy himself. I do it through the year as well. Go, I picked up that jumper that you said no to. I'm glad you get it for you. But it's nice for him to get gifts and stuff. And I think, like, sounds really awful, but I feel like men of a certain age get kind of, once they get a certain age, they get overlooked at Christmas. They tend to just get slippers and socks, which is always a lovely gift because Gary absolutely loves his slippers and socks and pants and link sets. He absolutely loves them. But sometimes it's just as much money to buy, I don't know, for example, a top that he really likes. Sometimes it's just as much money to buy him. He's so organisational, like he loves it. If he goes into a shop, he's always looking at the diaries and the pens. He just loves stationery. I don't know where it comes from because he doesn't do a job that involves stationery. So if someone got him like a little £10 set of stationery, he'd be in his element. So I just think where I know him, I get him all his little like bits that I know he wants for the year. I'm going to have a sip of this now. The steam's gone, it's gone a bit colder. Oh, that is nice. So another tradition that we do is we do it's already been now, it had been gone, but we do a North Pole breakfast every year. I never called it a North Pole breakfast. I didn't know it was called a North Pole breakfast until one lady said, we do a North Pole breakfast. Do you know what it is? I was like, no. And she showed me. But it turns out all along I kind of did do a North Pole breakfast, but didn't really know I was doing a North Pole breakfast. So whenever the elves used to come down, we always done a special breakfast because the elves would always bring treats with them. And they'd make mess on the table, and it'd be like flour or a gingerbread house and stuff to make all the bits of it. And they would always have pancakes and syrup on that day, and like junky type food that they wouldn't normally be allowed to have for breakfast any other time. So they have loads of breakfast, and I've always had Christmassy plates, so it's always been kind of like a North Pole breakfast thing. But some lovely lady on Instagram was like, do you do a North Pole breakfast? And showed me pictures of her beautiful North Pole breakfast. She was like, have a look on Pinterest and you'll get some ideas. So without me realising, I kind of had already done them, but I'm going to try and do them a little bit more extra every year now. So really like do it as a proper table setting and fill it out properly, not just... So this year I had extra marshmallows and sweets, which I wouldn't normally. It would just be the not very good for you breakfast, like a cereal option, toast, chocolate spread, and a few little donuts and stuff. So it's nice to do that, and with the elves on the table with it, and then all your Christmassy plates, and dress your table. So that was really lovely for her to get that. So now that's definitely, always was a tradition, but we're going to do it a little bit extra every year now. So that's another tradition that we do when the elves come. Obviously, that's another tradition in itself, Elf on the Shelf. Any parents know my pain. I love Elf on the Shelf. I think it's brilliant, but I will talk in code in case there are little ears listening, but parents know my pain when it gets to 10 o'clock and you've watched I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here on the telly, and then you go, oh, for goodness sake, what are Bertie and Basil, that's what our ones are called, going to be doing in the morning? And you know why you're worried about it at 10 o'clock at night. And that is enough. That is all I will say on the matter. So unless you have a full-fledged plan of action, you need to get one in place, because sometimes it gets a little bit last minute and you think, oh God, what are they going to do? They're just going to hang from the door handle or something. One of them ones. So that we'll get off that because literally it's just in case. And so that's another tradition. Another tradition is we have a set breakfast every Christmas morning. So this breakfast, we have it every Christmas morning without fail. It is pancakes, crispy bacon, sausages, syrup. We have an American style breakfast, and I buy muffins. So I buy like the sausage patty things that you put in like a McMuffin, like a McDonald's one, and we make those poached eggs. We make McMuffins as well. We like it because I don't do my dinner. I don't do it at Sunday lunch. I don't do my dinner like 12 or 1. We do have our dinner quite late. We have it about 4 or 5. So if we have a nice big breakfast quite early in the morning, have a few picks of tins of celebrations and some roses and some sweets throughout the day, and like cheeses, little mix and match. By the time dinner comes round, you're still quite hungry, so you're ready for your dinner, because otherwise it gets a bit wasteful sometimes. And yes, I always do a starter and a dessert. My starter is always a prawn cocktail. I know it's nothing culinary masterpiece. Everyone loves a prawn cocktail. I eat a prawn cocktail. I can't eat seafood unless it's really tiny, like prawns. I don't like seafood. So I do get sometimes dressed crabs and a salmon terrine, so people can also have that from the middle and help themselves to go with their little prawn cocktail. But the kids will eat it. They love it. I actually do the kids a crab stick version, which they really love. And I kind of have the crab stick sometimes as well if I'm not feeling the prawns. Always do that with fresh baked crusty bread, white bread. It's got to be white bread. And we have that. We always have our roast like Christmas dinner. I always have like all the trimmings and Yorkshire puddings. I'm finding out Yorkshire puddings for the Christmas dinner wasn't a thing. That it's always been a thing in our house. So yes, we do that. And for dessert, I always just get loads of different Christmassy desserts, like roulade, maybe a cheesecake, maybe a Christmas pudding. We always buy a very, very small Christmas pudding. No one eats it apart from Gary's nan. And she loves a Christmas pudding, so I always get a Christmas pudding for like 4 people, just in case that year that I buy it for one person and everyone's like, do you know what, we'll all have a little bit of that, what we've never had for years, but we'll have it. So we always get like a different dessert for Maureen, and yeah, it's just really lovely, lovely traditions. Boxing Day, we always go up to Gary's family who live in London, and it is like something out of Love Actually. It's all the lovely townhouses, everything's Christmassy decorated, and we get dressed up in our best and we go up there and they do Christmas hunts. So like they'll leave us a map, a treasure map, and it will say, you know, you'll find the next clue where Blackbeard washes his hands. That'd be in the bathroom sink or something. And then you go looking round, and it's his granddad. He sorts out all like the lists, and everyone gets a little prize. And it's like some little gold coins, that's like money. And it's like, it's really, really nice. And the kids love doing the little treasure hunt. And it always feels so festive. And they do another Christmas dinner, but I enjoy that Christmas dinner so much more because I haven't had to cook it. So, you know, you get the sweats and you think, I can't really eat that because I cooked it. So Boxing Day is definitely our letdown, like our chill out time, our downtime, not letdown, our downtime that I definitely chill out at Christmas. And then the day after Boxing Day, we go sale shopping and I get tempted to take my tree down. I don't know if this happens with everybody. I look forward to autumn and fall in summer. I look forward to Christmas when it's Halloween. So by the time Christmas has come, the January blues hit me so hard. I cannot accept that Christmas is over. It upsets me so much. We won't talk about it because we've got loads of Christmas festivities in front of us, but it really does. So what I then do is I go shopping in the sales and I tend to buy loads of organising stuff, and I like to keep my mind busy. So I like to take my Christmas tree down ASAP, but I don't get upset about it because I think I'm going to do loads of nice things. So I'll get fresh flowers and put them on the table. I will clean, like using all my last bits of Christmas scented cleaners, get the house all spick and span and lovely. I don't just do a spring clean, I do a winter clean, an autumn clean. Every season I like to get rid and have a good old clear out and put all the tree and that down, have a good hoover, because underneath them wicked trees, guys, let me tell you, they get dust when you've had your tree up since November. So yeah, and we have a big old sort out and it's just lovely. And New Year's Eve, since we've had children, we don't actually go out nowhere. So we like to sit down, have a chill out, we have a nice meal, we'll go out for a nice meal with the children, come home, get the kids all snugly in their bed, give them kisses and say Happy New Year. Me and Gary always sit down on the sofa, watch a film, strike of midnight, gives me a kiss, and we have a hug and say Happy New Year, and we probably go to bed. We're a young family. We don't like the scene of being out anymore, drinking. I can't think of anything worse than waking up with a hangover with children. It is the worst. So there are our little Christmas traditions. We also like, just while I've got a couple more minutes, because I don't want this to go on super long, is another thing that I like to do over Christmas is I think it's nice to be generous and gift all year round anyway. It's nice. But it really makes me think of the people, like the elderly people that may not have anybody at Christmas. It really makes me think of the homeless because it's freezing outside. So when they're on their own, it's awful. And I just think of all those things, and we like to donate to charities. So I like to do a thing that's a reverse advent calendar. I will show a video of me boxing my reverse advent calendar, but what it is a food bank. So for people that are homeless or people that haven't got a lot over Christmas, and it's a reverse advent calendar. I have a box in my utility room, and every day, rather than me taking a chocolate out of an advent calendar, sorry, my battery again, I take an item from the cupboard, something that's non-perishable like tins or like a box of chocolates, some nice little bits that they wouldn't normally have as well, and I put it in the box, one item every day, put it in the box, and then you take it down to the shelter and they give it out and give them out to people at Christmas. And I think it's just so nice to add a few nice little extra Christmassy bits rather than just beans and spaghetti and stuff to add in there. And also we just do a few little charities that we donate to over Christmas, and that is our other tradition. And I tell you something now, that feeling after you've done it, because not everybody can afford to give, and I understand that, I completely understand that, but even just walking into McDonald's past a homeless person and buying them a hot chocolate or a cup of tea because it's cold outside, just little things like over Christmas you see a lot of. I like to do it throughout the year regardless, not only at Christmas, but there are other little traditions. Sorry, my fringe is so greasy. Not that that's like the problem we're talking about, and I'm talking about greasy fringe, that's a first world problem, Rosie. But we're 30 minutes into the video and I'm going to let you go, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If it's not really your thing, that's fine, but I just know some of you say it's nice just to have a little chat and a sit down, and we actually enjoyed the Q&A because we were just sitting there having a chat. So Merry Christmas, guys, and I hope you have a lovely time of Christmas. I'm going to have more videos coming, so I hope you enjoy them. Take care.